Some people do not walk into a room and see people. They walk into pressure, silence, unfinished sentences, hidden resentment, tired smiles, and tiny emotional signals nobody else even notices. Before anyone explains what happened, their nervous system has already built a theory. The strange part is, they are often right. They can feel when someone is pretending to be calm. They can hear when a friendly voice has gone slightly cold. They can sense when a conversation has changed direction before the words do. But what looks like intuition from the outside can feel like imprisonment on the inside, because when your mind is trained to notice everything, peace becomes difficult. A quiet reply becomes a mystery. A delayed message becomes evidence. A small change in tone becomes a courtroom where you are both the witness and the accused. This is the hidden cost of being too aware. It is not simply intelligence. It is not just being deep. It is a mind that has learned to treat ordinary life like something that must be decoded before it becomes dangerous. For some people, this sensitivity may have been there from the beginning. Their brain naturally processes the world with more detail, more emotional texture, more intensity. They do not just hear a voice, they hear the feeling underneath it. They do not just enter a crowded place, they absorb the atmosphere of the whole room. But for many others, this awareness was not born as a gift, it was built as protection. Maybe they grew up around unpredictable moods. Maybe love in their home came with conditions. Maybe peace could disappear in one sentence, one look, one slammed door. So they learned to read the air. They learned when to speak softly, when to disappear, when to perform happiness, when to become invisible. And the child who once had to scan the room to stay safe becomes the adult who cannot stop scanning even when there is no danger. This is where the trap begins. The skill that once protected them starts controlling them. They become excellent at reading people, but terrible at resting around them. Imagine someone texting, "Sure, that's fine." Most people move on. But the overly aware person hears 1,000 possible meanings. Was that passive-aggressive? Are they disappointed? Did I ask for too much? Should I explain myself again? Their mind does not stop at the message. It studies the timing, the punctuation, the emotional temperature behind the words. And by the time the other person has already forgotten the conversation, they are still replaying it like a crime scene. The deeper problem is that awareness can become addicted to interpretation. The mind starts believing that every feeling must mean something, every silence must hide something, every shift in energy must be solved immediately. But here is the new insight many people miss. Not every signal is a message. Sometimes a cold tone is not rejection, it is hunger, stress, poor sleep, or a headache. Sometimes the room feels heavy not because you did something wrong, but because everyone in that room brought their own invisible weather. Over-aware people often confuse perception with responsibility. They think, "I noticed it, so I must fix it." They feel tension between two friends and immediately try to soften the room. They sense sadness in someone's face and begin performing comfort before anyone asks. They detect insecurity and start adjusting themselves to make the other person feel safer. This makes them seem kind, mature, emotionally intelligent, but secretly they are exhausted, because being the emotional thermostat for everyone else means you rarely get to know your own temperature. Another hidden cost is self-surveillance. They do not only read others, they monitor themselves. Did I sound rude? Did I seem needy? Was my laugh too loud? Did I make the conversation awkward? They become both the actor and the critic, living life while watching themselves live it. This destroys presence. You cannot fully enjoy a dinner if part of your mind is reviewing your facial expressions. You cannot fully receive love if part of you is checking whether the love is about to disappear. And you cannot feel peace if every emotion inside your body is treated like an emergency notification. A faster heartbeat becomes danger. A tight chest becomes a prediction. A wave of sadness becomes a problem to solve. But sometimes the body is not warning you about the future. Sometimes it is simply releasing the past. So, what is the way out? The answer is not to become less aware. Your depth is not the enemy. The goal is to build boundaries around your awareness so it stops becoming a prison. The first practice is to separate observation from story. Observation says, "They replied later than usual." Story says, "They are tired of me." Observation says, "Their voice sounded flat." Story says, "I did something wrong." Before you believe the story, ask, "What do I actually know?" The second practice is to stop adopting emotions that do not belong to you. You can notice someone's sadness without carrying it home. You can sense tension without becoming the repair person. You can understand someone's pain without turning yourself into their emotional shelter. A useful sentence is, "I can witness this without absorbing it." The third practice is to let some things remain unclear. Over-aware people often chase certainty because uncertainty once felt unsafe. But adult peace requires the courage to not solve every mood, not decode every silence, not prepare for every possible wound. Sometimes maturity is not knowing more. Sometimes maturity is choosing not to investigate what your peace does not need. The most powerful transformation happens when awareness moves from fear to wisdom. Fear says, "I must predict everything so I will not be hurt." Wisdom says, "I can trust myself to respond if something happens." Fear scans, wisdom observes. Fear clings to every detail. Wisdom lets many details pass through. And when that shift happens, the mind becomes quieter, not because the world becomes simple, but because you stop treating every moment like a threat. You still see deeply, you still feel deeply, but you no longer have to drown in the depth. This is the Obsidian Psychology reminder. Your sensitivity is not a curse, and your past does not have to keep operating your future. Obsidian is formed under pressure, but it becomes sharp, reflective, and beautiful. In the same way, your awareness can become more than survival. It can become clarity. It can become compassion. It can become a calm inner mirror that shows the truth without cutting the person who holds it.